right, welcome to Don't Hit That Snooze. We
Beep beep.
I totally forgot to change titles and whatnot as per usual.
That's all right. You can do that. Well, everyone looks at this very beautiful background. It's really cute. I like it.
Thank you. Is what I made for our thumbnail for Don't Hit That Snooze Spotify Wrapped, which I believe we put out on YouTube 2 weeks ago now.
It is on YouTube. You should watch it. We have very cool and fascinating and interesting taste in music.
Do we want to say interesting or depressing?
It can be both.
It can be both. It can be both.
Both can be true at the same time.
Also, you can listen to us discuss desserts of all different types.
We should do that again sometime.
We should do that with like other types of foods though, like snacks or potatoes.
But all potatoes are S tier.
That's true. That is true. But we can at least discuss why they're all S tier.
Fair enough. Actually, I almost feel like doing a quick pivot and doing that right now.
No. We'll save potatoes for later.
Ah. Fair enough.
So, today's actual topic is about teachers. Either our favorite teachers, a teacher that stood out in our lives in the past, or even like our worst teachers. Because I feel like there could be some good stories there.
Oh boy, howdy.
So there's not really too much of a criteria for this one. There isn't actually even an actual slideshow, because obviously we're not going to show these teachers.
Right. Or even mention some of them by name. I don't plan on it.
I don't plan to either. If it slips, it slips, but like,
right.
Unless you know us, you're not going to know these people.
Right.
All right. So should we maybe go by like subject, or do you have one in mind you want to start out the gate with?
I'm just we are toxic. No.
No, we're not. No.
Unless these teachers have committed actual war crimes.
True. Yeah. Then we're finding them, and yes. Anyways.
Yes. Then we would be like John Smith of 123 Street at Drewberry Lane.
You know what's actually kind of funny, and that's why I started choking on my water.
Is that what that was?
Yes. Yeah, still joking. Oh my goodness. Funny enough, I think one of my professors was actually named John Smith.
Oh my god.
Or at least something eerily close to that.
The most generic name that there is. That's amazing.
Honestly. And funny enough too, speaking of that same teacher, so while working at who gives a crap, we don't work there anymore. While working at Lowe's, working self-checkout, I saw him in the self-checkout line.
Oh my gosh.
I recognized him, but I don't know if he recognized me. So I just, stood there watching him bag his stuff and watched him leave. I'm like, okay.
Fair enough. I mean, like, I went to the high school not too far from where the store was.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely thought I'd see more teachers.
Right.
And I didn't.
That's how I felt too. Like, especially when I worked at the mall in the same city that I went to school in, I was always expecting that I was going to see teachers and people that I went to school with.
Right.
But it was so rare. Or just never.
That's right. And that's why some students are like, teachers don't exist outside of the school.
Unless you are my mother, then you just see them everywhere. But at the same time, she was a principal, so
I was gonna say that's a principal. That's different.
Yeah.
That's a totally different class.
Yeah. And then she sees teachers and students and parents of students everywhere she goes, even in Florida, which was insane.
Frightening.
She does have that teacher vision. Like, she will zero in on somebody, and sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, it's so and so. Other times it's like, okay, let's go down this aisle so that we avoid this person.
Yes.
Like, all right, mom. Suddenly,
That
suddenly we need peppers. Okay.
Yep. That honestly didn't start happening to me until I started working at the pharmacy of all places,
Mm.
the retail pharmacy. And then suddenly people were like, oh my gosh, Ghost, hi, hello, what are you doing out here in the wild? I'm like, please don't speak my name while my
Don't
mother is here.
don't
Why have you
interact.
approached me? Oh,
Don't-
like one time I was at a Kohl's with my mom and a patient just like completely like ambushed me. I was so spooked.
Oh,
And like my mom understood because she works in dental.
yeah.
And I was like, hello, person whose name I can't say. How are you? And they're like, oh my God, Ghost, how are you? Like, how's everything going? I'm like, everything's
Mhm.
great. I can't introduce you to my mother because that's HIPAA.
Like, that'd be a little weird as
Yeah.
well.
And mom's just standing in the back, just smiling, like, do, do, do.
It was always interesting working the registers, because there'd be people that come in, they recognize me from my mom's Facebook pictures. So they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're Mrs.
The
DeWitt's
principal's
mom or daughter." And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Hi." Like,
hi.
I have no clue who you are.
Can't stand that.
It's like, "Oh, tell your mom I said hi." It's like, "Okay." I go home, I'm like, some person wants to say hi to you. I can't for the life of me figure out who they are. They looked like
Hmm.
this, and my mom's like, "Oh, is it this person?" No. "Oh, is it this person?" How That's weird. How do you know that right off the bat? Like,
Right? My
she,
mom does the same with her patients. She'll be like, oh, that's so and so. They're so sweet. I'm like, how do you know all these people?
off the top of your head, just
Uh huh.
wild. And I'll get people at work who, like, I've definitely helped before. They'll come back and be like, "Oh yeah, you were the one that helped us." I'm like, "You sure?"
Like, actually, I didn't. That was my twin.
Yeah. Like, ooh. But anyways, we have veered so far off topic already.
Yeah, that was partially my fault. That was so sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, so teachers.
Well, here, actually, I kind of already have one. So you mentioned principal,
Oh
so
yeah.
that made me. There was this the vice principal of my middle school. Um, I had just freshly moved from into the school district, so it was a very big move.
Hmm.
So I was very quiet, very shy, very do not. Please don't talk to me. Let me read my book. Very, just please leave me alone. So every time, like, every day during lunch, you're in that big, long lunch line. And it's just, I was very much into the Harry Potter books, as per the time.
Yeah.
So every day I'm sitting there reading the books and, a month or two passes and the VP, very chill, easygoing guy. He's like, hey, Ghost, how you doing? Like, how you liking the book? I'm like, oh, it's good. Thank you. And like every couple of weeks, he would just, walk up to me and just very gently be like, "Hey, how's the book?" "Oh, it's good, thank you." I really appreciated that he wasn't like really bombastic. He was like, he was an adult that understood like, "Oh, here's a kid who has just made this major move, and let's not be bombastic with her."
Right, let's try to make her comfortable.
Yeah. And like tiny teenage me was very happy about it. It was small, short, sweet conversations. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. So I really adored him at the time.
Hmm. You say vice principal, and the only story that comes to mind with mine in high school, so right before Black Dawn and I started dating, there was homecoming,
Mm,
and there was like the whole homecoming ceremony thing where they announce who is going to be prom homecoming king and queen.
oh yeah.
And the drama department, which I was a part of, was in charge of taking up the things to the people who were elected. So like it could show like which one of them was chosen.
Yeah.
And we didn't have enough people, so we got Black Dawn, we got another friend of ours to join in. And Black Dawn and I were like making jokes the whole time. We partnered up to carry the things up to the stage. And as we were going to leave the gym, because it was like a practice run, as we were going to leave, I said to him, I'm like, you know what? I bet you can't like bridal style carry me out of here. He's like, oh, you want to bet? So he picks me up, and sure enough, and in my head I was like, oh yes, this is the man I'd like to date. um we're walking out of the gym, and both vice principals see us, and the one guy, the one who is a guy who he was super chill usually, he looks at us, he's like, no, put her down, put him down. Like
He's like, negative, stop immediately.
we're like, okay. And just laughing kind of the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, no shenanigans. That's enough.
Not today.
That's funny. Oh, I do have a principal story. It's not quite my story because it was a day I wasn't there.
Mm.
Uh, my senior year of high school, I was in the color guard. I would do color guard in the fall, and I would do flute during the spring.
Mhm.
So it was still fall semester, so the marching band's inside, and the guard we were either outside or in the gym. I don't know what it was. And the principal, he was the epitome of book smart, no common sense.
Oh, we love those.
Right. And none of the kids liked him.
Oh no.
None of them, because he would just open his mouth and say things, and everyone would look at him and be like, dude, are you serious? So this is one of those stories.
Mm.
The dude has a PhD.
Okay.
Like he has a doctorate. So like he's not dumb.
He just has no social skills.
Yes, it is exactly that. Okay. So he's standing in the band room. One of the trumpets told me this after the fact. So he walks into the band room and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, what's up?" Da 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 da. And the band director is explaining to him like, this is what's going on, this, that, and the other. And he looks at the band. He's like, "Okay, go."
What?
And they're like, "What?" Exactly that. And they're like, "What?" And for those who are not musically inclined, you're counted in before you start.
You can't just go.
Yeah, there is no ready, start.
Yeah.
There's a 1, 2, and go.
Yeah.
So he says go, and the band is looking at him like he has 3 heads. Which leads to like this amazing quote from one of the trumpets. And it went, I'm butchering it a bit because it's been so many years. And it was principal, marching band is like a watch. It's all these pieces put together. I was like, oh, dude, damn. Way to go, trumpet player.
Trumpets represent.
Right. Well, it's just our trumpet players were all chaotic.
Hey, you're talking to a trumpet player, so I get it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't know if yours were any calmer than ours.
Oh, no. Heck no.
Okay. So it's universal. Got it.
Yeah. No, it was the more chill than low brass, but like up there.
Oh, low brass. But yeah, super nice guy, just didn't know how to talk to the teenagers.
Yeah. So it's hey, listen, low brass was something else, and you know that from being in the section, sir.
Oh, listen. You don't gotta tell me nothing. 4 years of band.
Yeah.
Everyone was their own brand of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Which I'll tell one of Black Dawn's stories in that case then. So he's in low brass. He plays trumpet or trombone. My bad. I play trumpet. He plays trombone.
Wait a minute.
And we're out on the field. We're practicing, I think, one of our last songs, and this is senior year. And
we were angels. Of course you were, dear.
Garbage. So during practice, our band teacher tells low brass, like, hey, you know, like she couldn't find the perfect balance of low brass's volume. And she'd go, you know, hey guys, like you're playing just a little too loud. You're like overpowering everybody else. So we'd run it again. And they played a little bit quieter, or at least, you know, as quiet as, you know, low sounding instruments can be. And maybe we should have turned this into the marching band segment.
Like, I was just gonna say, like, this is about to veer off horrifically, but we do have another podcast idea.
There we go. So they're playing, and she's like, yeah, you know, guys, like it's still too loud. Like, can we, you know? So the next run we did, they just didn't play. And perfect. Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, guys, that was great. That was probably like our best run. I turn around and look at the low brass, and they're all just like, what the heck?
She said, just shut up and march.
Right.
That's great.
Oh, you can hear the woodwinds for once. Oh boy.
Let's see. Listen, the woodwinds was not a problem for us. By my senior year, we had somewhere between 20 and 25 flutes.
Good Lord. Yeah, no, we did not have that much in any section.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, junior year, I had considered returning to the flutes because I was like, all right, I did, you know, a couple years of guard. I'll return to the flutes. Black Dawn. It was a lot. I'd consider returning. I was like, yeah, you know, maybe I'll just do, you know, I'll do winter guard and just do flute for the marching band. And apparently, behind the scenes, there was whispers. Like, oh, Ghost is talking about leaving the guard. Because there was only like a dozen girls in the guard. There's not nearly as many. So yeah, there was whisper, and this was the band director, the guard coach.
Oh no.
Are we just swapping this over to marching band? Is that what this is?
This is a much better topic, if I'm being honest.
Okay, all right, fine. It's marching band hour. Okay.
Jeez, if I can get this to move. God. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so like the adults are having conversations about this. I didn't know until like a month after the fact. Let's go. Then I find out my captain and junior captain also get in on the conversation.
Oh, like, no.
Ghost is not to leave the guard because very good.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a pride thing. I was just, you know, when you practice something.
Right. You were just that good. Yeah.
Right. So my junior captain, that little brat, bribed me with cookies. She's like, hey, Ghost, if you stay in the guard for this season, I'll make you cookies. I was like, oh, hot dang. Chocolate chip? She's like, yeah, man. She's like, yeah, man, I'll make you cookies. I'll make you chocolate chip. I was like, score? Do you know that little wench did not make me cookies?
What the heck? No, you gotta hit her up like now and be like, hey, you remember way back when?
I know, you remember like nearly 20 years ago when you promised me cookies?
Garbage. What the heck?
I know. And I thought about that like months after the fact. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
She promised me cookies.
Goodness. But I mean, it got you back to color guard.
It did. It kept me in the guard. Kept me in for junior year and senior year. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, yep, this is where I'm meant to be. And then the flutes just kept getting bigger.
Yeah, you're like, maybe they didn't need me.
Oh yeah, then the flutes got bigger senior year. I was like, yeah, I'm happy where I am.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move into like embarrassing territory slightly. So my freshman year and by senior year, our band director had kind of eliminated any sort of hazing on freshmen, which fair, like, you know.
Right, you don't want that. There's of course freshman initiation, which we had at band camp, but yeah,
Right.
hazing is a no-go.
Yeah. So one of the things my freshman year that they did was one of the seniors was I don't know if it was really interning or what she was doing, but she was like working kind of at a hospital, and she was able to swipe some adult diapers.
I'm frightened as to the direction.
Yeah. Needless to say, stuff like this did not happen senior year. But the so I had missed the initial start off of this thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had gone back to the cabin, I think to change shirts maybe. And so I come back to the field and I see that the other two girls in the section on the outside of their clothes are wearing the diapers. And I was like, what the heck is this? I absolutely did not want to do that. I was like, and I get it, like, oh no, you're missing out on like the fun, like it's a funny little thing. It's like, that's embarrassing as all heck.
Right, like some people will totally shrug it off and be like, ah, it's marching band, it's whatever. Other people, it's like, nah, man, I'm not.
I ain't doing that.
Right.
So the seniors somehow convinced me to do it. And the whole time I was just like, I was already like, freshman year me was homesick as all get out. Like, crying literally every day.
Oh, honey.
It was bad. And so adding that on top of it just made it so much worse.
Oh, yeah, like you feel embarrassed. You're like, dude, I just want to call my mom and be like, what's happening to me?
Right. And everyone else is like, oh, just be a good sport about it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is awful.
Right, like this is not being a good sport. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so finally, I don't know what the time frame was, but I had that stupid thing on for like a good 2-3 hours. Because we're out on the field marching, which for one made it hot as heck. After it was already August weather. And I think it was like slightly after lunchtime, like I was sitting somewhere and one of the seniors calls down to me. They're like, hey, DeWitt, you can take that off now. I was like, great, thanks.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna smother myself with it and end it.
Like, I'll go jump in the lake, let this thing absorb all the water and sink me.
Yep. The bottom.
Yup. It was not great. Not great at all.
I do have an embarrassing story, but it's not my embarrassment.
Oh, we love secondhand.
Oh, it was secondhand, all right. My freshman year, there was this boy. He was my age, but he skipped a year. So he was a sophomore. I was a freshman. This boy had a big crush on me.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
no.
Oh no.
It was very obvious. He was nice, not the most socially graceful. Is the best. Yeah. So, we're going through the week, he and I chit chat on occasion. We have the big dance. My friend at the time convinces me to dance with him.
Hmm.
I find out later the reason why she convinced me to dance with him was because she told him, "Hey, sing the Numa Numa song for me, and I'll convince Ghost to dance with you."
Oh, that. Oh,
Oh, yeah, man.
that's so sad.
Yeah. That that's the early thousands for you, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So I dance with him,
Mhm.
and he leaves, he walks off for some reason. I don't remember. And I bolt. I'm like, you know what? How like you can feel tension and you're like, I can kind of tell where this is about to go.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I bolted from my room. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Uh he cried that night.
Oh.
And then the next morning, it's time to leave. So I'm just laying there on a pillow. I'm pretending to be asleep. And you can tell he had been crying again.
Oh no.
And I'm just like, oh no. How do I get out of this now?
Yeah. Like how? Oh, there's no way to fix that situation.
No. The whole season
Oh God.
was me trying to dodge this boy. I'm realizing now this just wasn't a fun story any which way.
Ah.
Here's a fun story. I fell down a hill.
What?
And I got a big old thing of road rash on my hip.
Oh
That thing hurt horribly.
gosh. Oh wait. Yeah. So speaking of,
Yeah, speaking of wounds.
my junior year, we went to a different camp because there was a whole thing sophomore year, which we won't get into. But we got a new band director, and because of that, none of the stuff that was supposed to get booked for the next year was actually booked.
Oh no.
So we end up at a different camp, and we get to the cabins, we're setting our stuff away, and then we're like, okay, we got to go up for like the opening ceremony or like lunch or something. So we're walking up, and our other camp had like really well defined trails to get to and from places. This
Oh, nice.
one really didn't.
Ugh.
And this one felt like it was more in the middle of nowhere than the other one.
Oh, that's how our camp felt.
Yeah.
It had defined trails, but yeah, it felt like it was in BFE.
Um so we're walking through the trail, and there's like this spot where you have to kind of go up these steps, kind of, but they're like um flat big steps that like you walk on them for a second, then you go up another one and go up, you know. So one of the trumpets, and this was his sophomore year, he trips while going up them, and we didn't think anything of it. It was like, oh, he tripped, like, oh, is he okay? We thought like maybe he just scratched his hand or something. No, he broke his wrist. It was bad. He was missing for the rest of the week.
Oh no.
And cause like we got to a point and we're like, hold up, where is this kid? Like, where'd he go? Come to find out that's what happened. We're like, oh no.
That poor kid. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Speaking of the boys, I had found out before I had even started. We had the girls' cabins were up at the top of the hill, and the boys were at the bottom. My freshman year. Turns out before that, the boys and girls could intermingle cabins, but that was no longer allowed because somebody got caught doing the tango.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, no, we didn't have that kind of issue because the girls' cabin was on one side of the lake and the boys was on the other. So if you wanted to do anything, you had to make like a 10-minute walk. That's wild though.
Right? Like, why would you pull anything at band camp when there's adults literally everywhere?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. Dude, we had like, it was like a 1 adult to 2 kid ratio.
Yep.
It
That's
felt like.
mm-hmm. Yeah, we had all the instructors, and then we had like the medical staff on site. And yeah, there was always so many adults, and we're just like,
Right.
we can't do
Yeah.
nothing.
Right. Yeah, you had like medical staff. Like we had so many random parents there just to help, volunteer, assist, and we're like, okay.
Speaking of like avoiding authority, excuse me. Did you guys do a senior prank at band camp?
No, we did a senior all-night party. I
Ah.
did not stay up for it. I sat there, I slept right there in the middle of the room, and I threatened the life of 2 people who tried to wake me. And it was hilarious in how frightening it was to everyone else, because I was known as the sunshiny one who farted rainbows. So everyone was like, "All right, just leave her alone."
Yeah, don't touch her. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Don't touch Ghost. Leave her alone. And we will live to see tomorrow. But you know how it is at the very end of band camp. Like you're tired,
Oh
you're
yeah,
exhausted, you're overstimulated, you're like, you haven't pooped in 3 days, you're like, I gotta get out.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we had a senior prank, and it was a tradition to do every year. My freshman year, I don't remember really what they did. Sophomore year, they put caution tape around the trees, and then use shaving cream down on the field to like spell something out. So of course, it fell to everybody to go out and clean that up.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were like, what the heck? That's not fair. But I think the band director was kind of playing into like, oh, this could have been everybody, even though he knew it was the seniors.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then my junior year, those seniors were absolutely just effing lame. You want to know what their prank was? Their prank was doing nothing.
Oh, that's boring.
That was it. That was literally like, that's what they said. They were like, yeah, no, our prank is that we're not doing a prank. Like everyone else is like, that's so stupid. Like what?
Right.
So
just put a bucket of water on top of a door or
right,
something.
do something. Like saran wrap the doors or something. Like I don't know. So
Actually, I do. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I do remember. I was told after the fact. The seniors that were still awake were running around at like 7 a.m. singing "You Are My Sunshine" underneath all the windows.
Oh.
To all the other kids.
Oh my goodness.
So again, I was left alone.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, our senior year, we were like, you know what? They didn't pull a prank last year. We're back at our normal camp. We're pulling a prank.
Mm-hmm.
So we organized this thing like weeks in advance. And somebody, I don't know if they worked at Gordon's, like a Gordon's food service.
Oh yeah.
But they're like, I can get a gigantic industrial sized thing of saran wrap. We're like, okay, sounds good. We could saran wrap the scaffolding and the drum major stands. We're like, yeah, this sounds like a good thing. So I think it was the last day of camp. So the night before the last day, we were all like, okay, we're all gonna sneak out of the cabins at this time and meet here. So I get up and I can't find my shoes to save my life. And I'm just like, oh, shoot, I can't So I go out and I discover I was not wearing both of my shoes. I had one of my shoes and one of my friend's shoes. So somebody else ran back to their cabin, grabbed a pair of flip-flops for me. And the girls' cabin was on the other side of the lake. And the boys' cabins were right on the field, essentially. So we had to walk from our cabins in front of the like the cabin that the band director was staying in and all the other like instructors, in front of the big house, like the mess hall and whatever, and then down to the field. I'm wearing flip-flops.
Oh,
Scared
that.
scared out of my mind that somebody is going to hear these stupid flip-flops.
Oh yeah, clap, clap, clap.
Yeah. And so we make it down to the field totally fine. Like nobody was the wiser. And we're like, okay, got to wrap up the scaffolding, do XYZ. And we do that. And we're like, okay, this is good. What else can we do here? So we're like, okay, somebody had brought duct tape. They're like, okay, we're going to duct tape the words "We Are the Champions" on the saran wrap because our show that year was Queen.
Oh, nice.
And so we did that. And we're like, okay, what else can we do? And we noticed that there's the umbrella that our teacher used, our band director used, at the top of the scaffolding. There's the yard markers, and there's a random folding chair. So we tape and saran wrap all these things together, set it on top of the main drum major's podium, and we also saran wrapped the podium. And then somebody had the bright idea. They were like, hey, I got ketchup, mustard, and syrup back in the cabin. And we're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
No.
So they sneak back to the cabin. It was one of the boys, so the cabin was right there. They grab the condiments, bring them out, and just start spraying them on the saran wrap that was on the drum major podium. Yeah.
Oh, everything went from totally fine to
disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It smelled terrible. But I think one of the funniest parts of the night, well, there's two funnier parts. So the first one was when they were putting the saran wrap on the scaffolding, 2 people volunteered to climb up to saran wrap it. And a friend that I still talk to, that we go up north with, and my co-section leader, because I was also section leader for some reason, they're both up there, and he goes, hang on, stay right here. I'm going to climb down and grab more of the saran wrap. And she's like, you're going to do what? She's like, you're going to leave me up here?
Honestly, fair, because I've climbed up that scaffolding like maybe 5 times in like my whole 4 years, and I hated it every single time. I'm like, why am I up here?
We did it once for like a picture on the last day, and it was terrifying.
Dude, it's awful. Like, I don't know how they do it each time, every time. And like, they're like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, they're
I'm
like
no.
walking around up top there. I'm like, oh.
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm. So then the second funny part was somebody mentioned skinny dipping.
Oh my God, no.
And I was like, I don't know about that.
No, I'm keeping my drawers on, thank you.
Yeah. And nobody actually did, but
that was one of the boys.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of the boys. And one of the girls was very into it. And I was just like, no, I'm good. And we made our ways back to the cabin. We're just like, I don't think so. And so then the next morning, we get down to the field, and our band director just goes, where are my seniors? And we're like, what are you talking about? It wasn't us. Like, but yeah, we had to clean up that mess, and it was disgusting.
I believe it.
Yeah. But I mean, it was fun. I have pictures that I'll send you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was a good time. Like, it was one of those moments, because I was very much the same, where I like didn't really interact too much with everybody. Like, I kept to myself. I had my little core group of friends, and that was like it. But that night, it just felt so nice to be included and feel like I was really a part of like the group of seniors.
Yeah. See, marching band is like that one funny outlier, like that one funny contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to anyone and everyone, and that was like the best part of high school because the rest of high school sucked,
Oh.
except marching band. That was it for me. I was like, hello, friends. I mean, I still had my core group. It was the guard,
Yeah.
and like maybe a couple of like other people. But like, if anyone ever approached me, I'd be like, hello, friend, how are you? But speaking of skinny dipping, um, only for the oh my good God.
Yep. Yep.
There's no way in. Oh my gosh. Well, cleaning that up had to suck. Yeah, y'all went crazy with the ketchup and the condiments.
Yep. Yep. That was, yeah.
Now, see, the only thing the seniors really did that like produced a mess was the final morning, I think it was. I don't quite remember anymore. We would take the rookies, now see, anyone could be a rookie. A rookie was anyone who was having their first season of marching band. It's typically a freshman, but it could have been
Yeah.
anyone. We had a rookie senior.
Oh, yeah. I think we did too.
Yeah. So what we did, we took all the rookies and we lined them up on the field and we just mummified them in toilet paper.
Oh.
Yeah. It was great. So yeah, we mummified them in toilet paper and we also put the toilet paper in between them, like a little checkered flag almost kind of thing. And we ran through it.
See, now that's fun though.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I think that's kind of the difference between our two schools is that our band, the adults always had us doing something. They kept us busy. Like one night they had us doing like, oh, a rookie versus like a capture the senior night. Like I remember one night, like I was hiding in a ditch somewhere and I was wearing shorts and I was thinking, oh my gosh, if one of those flashlights hits my legs, it's over.
Glowing.
Light, pale. This ghost, the name, not a joke. Yeah, like there was.
Go ahead. Continue.
Like we had an ice cream night. We had a talent night. We had a dance. Like every night, the parents had us doing something. I think they did that to keep us out of trouble. They're like, if these stupid kids are busy, they can't be doing shit.
Yeah. I mean, we had that too. My freshman year, we stayed at camp Sunday to Saturday. And so we had something going on every single night. There was a game night where you were put in groups and would go to different stations and play different games. There was a movie night. There was a Family Feud night, which was my favorite.
That sounds cool.
There was the dance. There was a lot. I honestly can't remember all of it.
Right? There was so much.
But then once we switched band directors, that really wasn't a thing. Like we still had the band dance, and I think we had Family Feud. But I don't remember. We had because we had fires. So we had the opening campfire and there was a closing campfire. And at the closing one, that's where we would do the initiation. So our initiation was, and our school mascot was cougars. So we had the whole thing where you eat the cougar. And that was essentially, so like it was all themed to where it's like you need XYZ to be a part of this marching band, like the brains and the, I forget what all of it was, but like the eyes and stuff. So we would have the seniors at the beginning of the week pair up with a freshman or a newbie. And at the end of the week, they would feed them the cougar. And this entailed cold spaghetti for the brains. Was it cold spaghetti or was it the Jello? No, the cold spaghetti was the guts. Unflavored Jello for the brains. Peeled grapes for the eyeballs. And you would get a kiss from the cougar, which was a mallet that had been saran wrapped and dipped in honey. And I feel like there was something else that I'm missing, but it was fun. It was cute. And my junior year, I didn't get a person, but my friend let me team up with her to help her person. And then my senior year, my person ended up going home, like at the very beginning of the week. So I was like, well,
oh no.
Okay. But I mean, that was, as a freshman, like my sister had told me about it and would not tell me what it was because it was like, oh, it's a hush hush big secret. Like, oh, I was like, so in my little freshman head, I'm like, are we actually gonna have to like eat meat or something? Like, like this doesn't sound fun. And they're like, no, it's totally fine. And
like, you're safe. It's okay.
Mhm.
Oh.
And so every time they'd come around with the thing, because it was big sister and little sister, big brother, little brother. My big sister would be like, okay, it's just this. Like, don't worry about it. I was like, okay.
Oh.
Like, she was so sweet.
Now, see, for us, the rookie senior thing worked a little differently. What I really liked about it was that all the rookies wore signs with their names on it.
That's smart.
Yeah, well, because also our marching band was really big.
Ours was not.
And that's the thing, like, every single year we got bigger. Like, I think my senior year, we were almost 200.
Holy crap. My senior year, we were 89.
Right. So it worked out for everybody. It's like, oh, look, here's a new kid. Like, oh, what's your name, new kid? John McStuffins? Perfect. So that helped everybody. And also, like, oh, wow, I'm trying to say 3 thoughts at once and it's not working. Like, I'm trying to remember the thing that you just said about, how you said you had a person and they left.
Yeah.
That is how it worked with my school. Every senior got at least one rookie. Of I think I had 2 my senior year. And you could have a rookie from any section. It could be, one from guard, one from brass, a flute, a clarinet, like whatever. You could have them from anyone in the band. Like, it's a list. It's like, here you go, pick who you want.
Oh, you guys got to pick?
You got to pick.
Yeah, no, ours, the band director assigned them.
Oh, no, see, we picked. I remember when I was a rookie, my senior, I was a flute my freshman year, and my senior was in the color guard.
Oh, foreshadowing.
It really was. Yeah, that's what kind of almost ignited me looking into winter guard, and then I was like, oh yeah, here I go. And then I proceeded to be in color guard / winter guard for 7 seasons.
Jeez. Yeah, so I did trumpet from 6th grade all the way to senior year. And finally my senior year, the color guard instructor was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring in winter guard. I was like, ooh, I could finally try out color guard.
Yeah.
Bro, I have so much respect for what you guys can do after doing that.
Thank you, because so many people outside, they're just like, oh, you're just twirling flags. It's
God,
like,
no.
first, the word is spinning, and second, get in here and try it.
Oh, I really could, because like he had us learn the whole like fight song, and he came up with little routines for us to work on. I can still do like 2 of the tricks that I learned. I can't toss a flag to save my life. That thing going up and coming down scares the crap out of me.
I mean, when you don't have that much practice to it, yeah, it gets a little scary. I will say learning flag is a lot easier than learning rifle or saber. I found saber to be so difficult, and I much preferred rifle because saber was so light and delicate, and I couldn't muscle through with a saber like I could a rifle. A rifle, you could just put strength into it and you could make it work.
Just
A saber, you had to be much more technical.
yeah, just yeet that thing in the air.
Pretty much.
I do remember there was one competition we were at and watching the color guard, and one of them had a saber and was doing really well with it, and then she tossed it and it just went flying. Like to a point where she couldn't catch it, and I was just like, oh no.
Oh no.
It sucked.
I remember one time my guard coach, she had this beautiful engraved saber. We were inside in the gym, and she tossed it. It went up, it went flying, it went down, and it shattered.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh, coach, oh no. She's like, it's all right, I can solder it. And I was like, okay. I'm still looking at the beautiful engraving on it, and I'm like, oh no.
That was so my freshman year, we were out on the field practicing, and both our practice field and like our normal football field were not that well taken care of. And it was real grass too. So there were dips and holes and whatnot. And one of the seniors, as we're marching along, trips.
Oh no.
Goes down, pops right back up like a jack in the box. However, the bell of her trumpet was no longer facing forwards.
Oh no.
It had bent sideways.
Oh no.
It looked so bad.
Oh.
I felt so bad for her because, like, it's senior year. Like, this is the end, you know?
Right. It's like, you're probably going to put that thing down and never pick it up again after this.
Right. So I think she ended up just using, like, the schools for, at least,
few months.
Yeah, for a few months. I don't know what she did throughout the school year, though, because she was part of, like, symphonic band. So.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. And then senior year, the other senior in my section, who was also section leader with me, his trumpet just steadily started falling apart.
Oh no.
It started with like one of like his oh crap, what are my I can't think. Like you know where like the
slide?
the slides, I was gonna say the spit valves, but yeah, the slides, it became unsoldered.
Oh no.
So it was still hanging on. Like it was fine for a bit. But then it just totally detached from the bell. So he then just had the mouthpiece with attached. I don't even know. Like, I wish I had a picture of this thing because it was a Frankenstein of a thing. Like, the valves were totally missing, and I think he ended up having to use like the schools at the rest of the time because this thing was just gone. He had the mouthpiece connected to one of the slides, and then that was connected to the bell. And he would laugh about it too. He's like, how long do you think I could get away with this before somebody says something? I'm like, you're not gonna go very far with that.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
Yeah. So he would pull that thing out every now and again just for funsies. But
What kind of sound is this gonna make?
and then on technical errors as well
Oh,
for myself. So senior year I had a solo during Bohemian Rhapsody.
a
The amount of times that I played it, I probably played it perfectly or close to perfectly, maybe 3 times out of the whole season. Some of the times it was because I didn't take enough breath.
oh.
Other times so I have 2 trumpets. One is one that was passed down from my sister to me. That thing's old. And the other one is a silver trumpet that I got while we were in Florida that one of our family friends gave to me.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, sick. I've got a silver trumpet. I'm that person now. Ha ha ha. This thing, I need to like get it looked at, which I mean, there's no point now, obviously. But the valves on it would just randomly stick
Oh no.
for no apparent reason. So I remember there was a competition and I'm in the middle of my solo and the valves decided to stick. And I played it off. I was like, okay, it's fine. You know, just
Right,
go.
get through it.
And I just bawled my eyes out once the show was over.
Oh.
Because I was like, oh man. And I told my mom and she's like, oh, well, we couldn't tell. And I'm like, you're saying that to be nice.
Right, or you don't know any better.
Yeah. Like, you've heard me play this like 20 times already. How could you not have noticed?
Right.
But yeah. And so that was a thing. But we also, my freshman year, was the only time that we had a keyboard player in the pit.
Hmm.
And the amount of times that he had technical issues was insane.
Oh, dude, we had a pit crew. Like we had like a bunch of parents that acted as a pit crew to help get them set up. Well, because we had guitar players and a keyboard player, like all that. So thank the high heavens for them. So I'm very, very sorry for the keyboard player.
Yeah, man. Like, their microphone wouldn't work, or their microphone would end up being too loud and overpower the entire band.
Oh.
Yeah. We also had a time, there was a saxophone that had a solo, and so he had to be mic'd up. His microphone worked like 75% of the time.
Oh.
Yeah. It was not good.
I don't think we had issues like that, but then again, like playing in the guard, I'm not really paying attention to the music.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm just sitting there trying to get the counts out and being like, all right, pay attention, like count 16, run the judge over, catch the triple. Have you ever ran over a judge?
No.
I have.
Oh.
Oh, I clocked him with a flag. It was glorious. It was annoying.
I have almost been taken out by the guard.
I'm sorry.
And it was during one of my solos too. So they had to like, I got to a certain spot, had to stand there. They had to pass around me, but they were marching backwards.
Oh, so they didn't see you.
Yep.
Oh no. They're like, well, I hope I have enough clearance.
Yep. So constantly I'm like, ooh, avoid the guard, avoid the guard.
No, avoid the guard and the flag.
Yep.
Because that flag is minimum 6 feet.
Oh yeah. That gonna whack me good.
Oh yeah, and that pole is metal.
Trust me, I whacked myself in the head enough times with it to know.
Oh, honey. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, well, here, speaking of skinny dipping, I meant to mention this earlier. So twice my band went to States. We were in the MSBOA flight.
Mm.
Because we're pretty good at what we do. Just gonna ring that horn, ding ding. So on our last practice run before we went to States, like that final night, we would do what's called the naked run through.
I'm sorry?
Yes. No, you heard correctly. We're a bunch of stupid teenagers. So the boys would take off their shirts. And in their shorts, the boys would be in their shorts, and the girls would be in their shorts, and like most would keep their shirts on because we're girls, or they would take off their shirts and be in like a sports bra.
What the heck?
Oh no, man, it's a bunch of weirdos. I don't know who started it, but both years. It would be like, all right, we made it to the States. Let's do the naked run through. Like, why?
Oh my god.
I did not partake.
I mean, fair, yeah.
I kept my shirt on. But yeah, that was a thing we did.
Oh my god.
We also had this grimy hat.
Oh?
The brass.
Ah, yeah.
Yep. They passed it down at the end of every band camp. From the senior to the junior. There was a whole speech. I just distinctly remember one of the words being that no female has ever touched. And I would just sit there and go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nor would I ever want to touch it. I'm trying to think of anything else off the top of my head.
So we had so for the band dance with you guys, did the upperclassmen pick a date being a underclassman?
Nah, everyone just danced with everyone.
Yeah, so a long-standing tradition that was broken, I think my senior year. The upperclassmen would pick a underclassmen to dance with for one song. And my sophomore year, there was a kid, he was a trumpet, and we called him Batman. Because he just absolutely loved Batman. And so the underclassmen would stand in a line and the upperclassmen would stand at the other end of the field. The band director would yell go or blow a whistle or something, and the upperclassmen would run over and pick their date. So one of the upperclassmen picks him, and they're announcing, like, okay, we've got so-and-so with this person, so-and-so with this person, we got so-and-so with Batman. And she makes a joke, and she's like, oh man, I'm so glad I wore my Batman underwear. And he's like, oh my gosh, me too. And he lowers his shorts slightly to show off that he was wearing his Batman underwear. And there was a picture taken by the photographer because we had a parent that was a photographer there. The excitement on his face was so good.
I believe it. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. That man is now married with 2 kids, and like good for him, but that will always be who he is in my head.
Yes. Batman underwear boy, just Batman boy. Oh, good God. I hope he still enjoys Batman, honestly.
He does, and his wife posts constantly, and they're like just the biggest nerds, but it's so cute.
For them. That's awesome.
They're Did you guys ever do anything where like the whole band had to stand at attention and either the upperclassmen or the instructors had to break them out of attention by like getting them to laugh?
Yes, that was something that the seniors and the rookies did. Yeah, so before and after before morning practice and after evening practice, the seniors and rookies would get together. I hated it both times. So I was very easygoing with my rookies because I was like, listen, it's early and I hate everything.
Mhm.
So as soon as main nonsense was adjourned, I was like, listen, you're done. Go to breakfast. And one of my rookies who was in the guard, um, she would just still sit there in attention. I was like, if you want to sit here and win, brownie points to you.
Mhm.
You don't gotta be here. And she would just sit there. I'm like, all right, cool, bye.
Enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm. Because when you're a senior, you're God. You can cut in front of line at lunch. You can hand your stuff over to the rookie and be like, hey, rookie, hold my stuff. But of course, none of us ever really did that because, well, never did.
Yeah.
That happened more my freshman year.
Mhm.
And then when we became seniors, we're like, ugh.
Yeah. So we did the attention thing, but it was the whole band had to stand at attention.
Mm-hmm.
And the or was it the senior? I think yeah, so it was everyone junior year and under had to stand at attention and the seniors and the instructors would go around and try to break people. And I remember two distinct things happening. And if you broke, you had to run a lap real quick and then run back to your spot and get back in attention.
Oh,
Um,
God.
I am the worst when it comes to somebody trying to make me laugh. But I remember they did the circle of life. So they stood there and it was
And
two or three.
recreated it?
Yeah, it was two or three of them. All they did was like the opening was the Nastavia got me immediately. And then the other one, they come out of nowhere with a freaking banana costume. I saw that out of the corner of my eye and just lowered my hands and started running. I was like, there's no way.
I'm already out. I'm gone.
Yeah. And of course, when I get back, as soon as I get back into place, whoever was wearing it, because it was like one of the most serious dudes who put the costume on too. And
Oh,
he
that's
just
even worse.
out of nowhere goes, I'm a banana. And I'm like, oh no, it's
That's
over.
great.
This is the same guy who, my sophomore year had to fill in as like an intermittent band instructor for us. And it was the fall. It was like fallish. We're on the field, and all of a sudden there's like all this fog that starts to appear. And he's like, all right, we're done for outdoor practice for right now, because this is axe murderer weather. So everybody for themselves. He got down off the podium and went over to the golf cart and took off. Like, dude, what the heck?
Dude, if I was 14, I would have genuinely believed him and like cried.
I know. We all like looked at each other and we're like, what the heck?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you can't just leave us like this.
He said, I did, and I'm gone. Did do drill competitions, like formations.
No. Wait, no. We had funny names for certain formations that we had. So there was one time there was the goggles, which literally looked like a pair of like scuba goggles. And then another one was the toothpaste. And it was a formation that legit looked like toothpaste on paper. But no, we didn't do any competitions or anything.
Hmm.
But before we blast off, what was your favorite show that you did?
Oh gosh, probably The Sound of Music.
Ooh, okay.
It was so much fun.
Were you in guard at that point, or?
Yep, I was in guard. And it was one of the shows that got us to States. But it was
Ooh.
like it was just it was a fun, it was like the music was really fun, like it was just really upbeat and friendly, and like the costumes were really cute, and like everyone was like really vibing together for the show itself. So it's just like it was genuinely just really fun.
Hmm.
And like I really liked like the work that we had that was written for the show. So did I have a solo for that show? I don't think I did. I don't remember. That was my sophomore year.
Hmm.
No, I didn't have a solo. But yeah, that was my favorite show.
Mine, my freshman year, we did Wicked.
Oh, that's cool.
It was so good. We we never topped that afterwards.
Nope,
But
fair enough, man.
it was so good. Like our opening set was a witch's hat.
Oh, did you make the hat?
It looked so cool.
Dude.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we did No One Mourns the Wicked. There was Dancing Through Life. And then we closed out with For Good. And like when we were at band camp, they were like, okay, first parts have this nailed. Second and third parts, like you guys gotta come through and shine. Cause this, like, they have to hear you guys. So when you listen back to recordings of it, all you can hear is the second and third parts just playing their little hearts out, and it sounds really, really good. But it was a great show, and I wish I could relive it.
Oh god, I feel that.
Like, do I think me right now could go out and march an entire show? Absolutely not.
No, oh my gosh, I would die within 3 minutes. Like, and those shows are 15 to 17 minutes long. Like, you forget how long those shows are.
Yeah, I mean, while you're playing it, you're like, "Oh, we're already done? That was the end?"
Right, right.
But then
You're like, let's go.
you get off the field, you look at the time, you're like, "Oh."
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're like, let's go again. You're like, oh.
From the top. Okay.
Yep. Band director's like, for the third time. And you're like, bro,
Yeah.
hold on.
Man,
I want some water.
That was the thing. It was like, all right, one more time. And we're like, oh.
Oh my gosh, I know. You're like, I know it's great up there from like your little high perch.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of us are a little tired.
Some of us are a little sunburnt.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us accidentally got bug spray in their mouth and we really need to rinse it out right now. Disgusting. Made my lip go numb. Like,
Oh no.
I had a time freshman year.
Dude, I believe it. The horrific sunburn I got freshman year.
You look back at, there's a picture of me from like, we used to do a parent show at band camp for like the parents that would come pick some of us up. And there's just this picture of me. And like, I'm a relatively tan person most of the summer. I was just brown. Like, there's a picture of me and I am just tan as all can be.
Listen, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't tan. I turn red and then I turn back white.
Yep, that was most of my friends too. Like I felt so bad. I'm sure if I was friends with you back then, I would have felt really bad too, because they would just be bright pink. Like to the point you poke them and your fingerprint stays there for a second.
That's exactly it.
Oh.
Misery.
But anywho, we are going to break for a moment, figure out what we're doing. Thank you for joining us for Don't Hit That Snooze this week. Not sure what we're doing next time, but we hope to see you there.
Beep beep.